Hi, my name's Beth. Today I am going to show you how to turn this into this. So in order to make our fantastic shoes, there's things that you're going to need to get, but they're not really expensive things and they're easy to find. So you're going to need some shoes. That'll be a good start. I use things with like a velvety texture or a suede texture because it's a little bit more abrasive, and you can get your silicone to stick easier to this. Bath and shower waterproof silicone, I get this from the pound shop. If you're buying it from the pound shop, you're going to want about 5 of these, or you can buy in the like this from B&Q. These are just a little bit easier to use, I find. Baby wipes I can't recommend enough. Either that or a big bowl of water and some soap, masking tape, scissors, some sponges for your texturing, just normal household sponges. You're going to want some pots to mix in, either, you know, normal dishes are fine, the silicone picks off really easily. These are the paint colours I've chosen for my shoes. I've got a bright pink and a bright yellow. They're acrylics and they mix well with the silicone. A spatula and some acrylic paint. I use yellow ochre for the soles of the shoes to make the baked cakey bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the area on the shoes that's going to represent the cake filling. I just cut the masking tape down a little bit so it's not as wide. I'm just going to stick this around the shoe. So, got the tape on now. So I'm going to get my silicone. I've cut the bottom of this. It's just easy to squeeze lots out. The thing with the silicone, it sets very quickly. So I'm going to squeeze a lump into my mixing bowl. And a tiny bit of yellow ochre paint, a couple of drips there. Mix it with my spatula. And I'm going to start to smear it on the shoe. You want to smear it on so it's got a nice even texture, covers up all the colour. And then you've got that like that. Just going to stipple it with the sponge to give it that kind of cakey texture. And you're going to do that up to that line there, all over the shoe. I've gone round and done the whole of the sole of the shoe. As you can see, there's a couple of bits that are not quite covered. So what we do, we give the silicone a little while to dry, and then we go over again and do a second coat. So I've got my second coat on. It's still drying, but while it's drying, I'm going to mix a bit of, what have we got? Yellow ochre and light brown. And I'm just going to paint it very gently on these edges here. Because you know when you get cakes out of the oven and they're a little burnt crisp on the edge, just makes them look a bit more sort of cakey, three-dimensional. You can just see the brown coming up there. I'm going to do that all round and just give it a bit more of a spongy cakey effect. So we're now going to start putting the pink layer of icing on, and back to your silicone. It doesn't have to be pink, you can choose any colour you want obviously. You might want it a bit more subtle than the colours I've chosen. Also, you don't have to do heels of this height, shoes of this shape. I just happen to make shoes for drag queens, so the bolder the better really, but you can do nice little flats. So don't forget, this has to be acrylic paint for it to mix well with the silicone. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can either splodge it on with a spatula, or you can use an icing bag. Obviously if you're good at icing cakes, which I'm really not, there'll be a lot of different patterns and exciting things you can try using the silicone as you would icing. I'm going to splodge it on. It doesn't have to come all the way up this because it's going to be covered in yellow. And I'm going to do that all the way around. You'll probably have noticed by now how quickly the silicone sets, how hard it becomes to work with, which is why I do it in a couple of goes. As I go round with the yellow, I'm using a bit of this glitter. It's by Glitter King, and it has some chunky bits and some finer bits. Gives a nice bit of texture to your shoe. Lots of nice colour. It needs to go on while the silicone's still wet. If you want a smoother texture with your icing, just use a bowl of water, fingers in the water, and smooth it down, and it will give you a bit of a smoother texture. Now if you're anything like me, at this point you're going to be covered in glitter and silicone and all sorts of things, but they're all stuff that comes off really easy. So for the final piece, the cherry on the cake, we're going to put the cherry on the cake. So I've filled up an icing bag with a nozzle with some plain silicone. Going to make me a big icing swirl. And then got some cherries from eBay, plastic cherries. I'll pop it on there. So there's our cherry cakey shoes. So I'm going to put a final bit of glitter just on the front there. And you're going to want a little nail varnish for the jam around the edges. I'm just going to put this nail varnish, there's a bit of jam, around those edges. You're going to want to leave them a couple of days to dry before you wear them. Well, I hope you've had some fun making these, doing something a little bit different, and I hope you've not made too much mess. Thank you, bye.